Well, good morning. Morning, everybody. I hope you are well. So this is your sister Amma under the duvet. I am clearly obeying instructions and I'm staying put. I am self-isolating. Actually, in my case, I'm actually quarantined. I am trying to restrict external contact as much as I can because I want to help to fight this thing. I want to dealt with quickly. I want this episode finished with so that we can move on with life and return to some normalcy quickly. So those of you who want it to end already, those of you who prefer that you go about your normal everyday life as planned, the best thing you can do for yourself and for all of us is to stay home. Stay home. Don't go anywhere. Obey instructions. You shouldn't be forced to do things as adults. Yes, I know it's not a lockdown, but goodness me, we have common sense. We do have common sense, and I suggest that we all apply this common sense and make this episode end quickly. Anyway, whilst we're waiting for it to end, this is the third event, and normally when I normally work in multiples of threes. When something first happens, I ignore it. Then I get a secondary stimulus about the same thing. Still don't act for conviction, I ignore it. The third time, the same thing is flagged up within a short space of time. It gives me conviction that this is one to talk about. So today, a sister sent me an audio asking for, Ethel, thank you. A sister asked me for a translation, and that was the third one in this week only about Africans. So today's video is about demystifying the African for the other groups of people who don't quite understand Africans. As I said to my sister Ethel this morning to pass on to whoever was making the inquiry, my people are symbolic people. I am Ghanaian. But I would tell you that the Ghanaians are not too different from the rest on the West African coast. We are very similar people. And the key descriptor for us is the fact that we are symbolic. We don't quite speak in words only like the rest of you do. No, we use symbols. One symbol can be a whole essay. Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. One symbol. Jinyame. You've seen the Wakanda symbol. Yeah. It's the Akofina from Ghana. It is two interlocked swords. For the rest of you, it looks like something funny on my wall. It looks decorative. No, it is very symbolic. That could be a whole book. So what you lot waste a lot of time writing in text, which is the way your cultures are set up, is actually just communicated by that simple symbol, locking. Jinyame. That simple expression says it all, and it epitomizes the entire life that you will live. Nothing happens except by the will of your creator, your God, whatever you want to call it, the universe, the force, you name it. But it simply symbolizes the fact that you are powerless as a human being. You actually don't control much. A lot of what happens to you, people call it chance, people call it luck, whatever, but it's actually out of your control. And that's what that symbol means. You depend on factors which are out of your control, and most of us think that those factors out of our control has to be because of a God. Some of you don't want to call it a God, you want to call it the universe, the force, whatever. But it's an acknowledgement of the fact that you are very feeble in the face of everything else you have to handle and deal with. At the moment, we are stuck indoors. Some people will stay indoors and still catch coronavirus. Some people will be out there in the hospitals working, fighting, saving lives, and will not catch it. I know somebody whose husband got it, and they've tested the family, and nobody else in the home got it, but they all nursed this man. He's passed, but they are all alive. They all tested negative. Many things are out of your control. Many things are controlled by other things. Those simple symbols communicate an awful lot. I could tell you a lot about the symbols, but today I am actually not here about the symbols. I want to demystify African sounds for you. If a person sent me this, I don't understand you Africans. I'm like, what do you mean? Yeah. When an African says, well, it's a sound which says that I'm unhappy about something, that something irritates me, that something's not quite the way I want it. Oof, done. Hey! Something is incredulous. Yes, we have to clap. Thank you. Sometimes we have to actually smack our thighs as well for emphasis. I know you guys use exclamation marks. We slap our thighs. Different methods, same purpose. Why is one better than the other one? I am a school teacher, and in my role as a school teacher, I get a lot of things from people. Oh, the black kids are so loud. I'm like, okay, we don't do quiet communication. It's not malicious. They are just laughing in the corridor. Is that right? Yes. Have they really done any harm to anybody else? No. Are they irritating you? Well, that's your perception and that's your problem. All they are doing is a group of friends having a giggle. I know you and your friends only giggle this way. We don't. Oh my God. Yeah, that's a giggle. That's not even a laugh. That's just a giggle. What makes better than mine? You prefer silence? I prefer it loud. See, different preferences. And as long as you understand some of these things and you operate under the principle of live and let live, all of us will be fine. I have no right to judge yours. You like to be quiet. You have no right to judge mine. I love to be noisy. Each should be allowed to express themselves, and if my noise is too much for you, you remove yourself. Obviously, if I'm encroaching on your space, you do so. You say so, and I learn to move my noise elsewhere. But the fact that I choose to express myself this way is no worse than somebody who chooses to stay silent. Actually, for black people, holding things in and trying to mimic what other cultures do is one of the reasons why we have an awful lot of depression in our community. Because for us, what is normal for the rest of you is actually suppressive. And suppressing your feelings over a long period of time leads down the mental illness we all see. The statistics are there. The explanation is what I'm giving you. This is culturally the way we express, and nothing wrong with that. So let me demystify some simple things for you. If you've ever come across some Africans talking, my friend, oh, some of my friends are hilarious. She says, Mamet, I don't understand anything you and your people say when we meet, but I love the fact that all I hear is blah, 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 aha, blah, 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 Ajay. So let me explain. It's agreement. Is an exclamation. You know when you actually do want to communicate something and you're trying to explain stuff, but it's difficult to articulate, and somebody actually jumps in and does it for you. Get that one? Really nice. It's wonderful when you're struggling to communicate and somebody bails you out. There is something which needs to be highlighted, and you are waiting to highlight it, and somebody just gets in before you and highlights it for you. They sound similar, but they are very opposite in fact. Means no, not at all. Yes. These sounds, remember, for African communities, for Ghanaian communities anyway, we speak different languages because we are actually many tribes. We don't really understand each other's language, just so you are clear. So in order for trans-tribal communication, we find these sounds which allow, and you find these sounds across most of the tribes. It's not actually a language. It's just a sound. But all the tribes understand and we all do it. And it makes sense. It makes communication easy. They are synonyms. Yeah, you know, like you do synonyms in English. Words that have the same meaning. Well, we do synonyms, but they are sounds that have the same meaning. They are all synonyms. Thank you. You want to understand Africans, right? Well, I'm explaining Africans. Let's go. So anytime an African, or West African anyway, Ghanaian says, they are saying no. No way. Not at all. We do speak, actually, in my language, it's Debbie. But we don't even want to use words sometimes. This is easy. No, we're not calling chickens. We are not calling chickens. No, thank you. Sometimes we don't even speak. It's sometimes just a finger and a look. Some of my friends call it African eyes. Amma, how do you discipline your kids with African eyes? I'm like, how do I discipline my kids with African eyes? I saw you when your boy began to do such a thing and you did something with your eyes. It's not African eyes, it's just non-verbal communication. Thank you. The slightly raised eyebrow. See, I wasn't expecting that to be an African thing. I thought this was just a universal sign. But what is actually African is the finger. And that's why those of you who like finger wagging always get into trouble with your African friends. You irritate your African friends. She was so aggressive. Well, this in my face is a red towel. This in my face is a big deal. It's one of the greatest insults you can give me. This is a way of warning somebody. This is a control mechanism. This is a suppression tool. So don't do that. 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 See, I've used all 4 of those synonyms. Don't ask me how to make the sound. I was born making it. But it's something to do with holding your tongue to the palate and clicking at the back of your tongue. Don't ask me. I can't explain how to construct it. If you can work out how to do it, good for you. Otherwise, just take my word for it. Means no. Many variations. Oh, it's an interesting one. Ooh, it's a sign of surprise. Oh! Is also an exclamation, but usually of a negative connotation. Oh! Something really bad happened. Oh! I lost my job. Oh! Somebody passed away. Oh! Oh. See? Not the same as oh! Those two are synonyms. Ah! Is also synonymous. Oh. See, this is not, this is just one. Hi. And yeah, it's usually accompanied by that sign where I'm from. This sign is what most people from my tribe do when there's a disaster. When somebody's mom dies. Yes, when you do this where I'm from, people will tell you your mom hasn't passed. Stop doing that, because usually when your mom passes, when the world, your universe collapses, when something huge and dramatic happens and you want to communicate it, we do this before we wail. And when we actually open our lungs, you will know that we have huge lung capacity. We can scream. Yes, we can yell. Yes, we can wail. Because as I told you before, we Africans, we don't suppress our feelings. We get it out there. That is how we survive mentally. So the next time you see somebody, hey, hi, ooh, See? A lot of things you can do with your fingers and each one means the same. This is Eureka. I've got it. Eureka. Suggest something is not quite right. This is the negative. But this one can be positive. Aha! I've got you. Yeah, you. I have got you. Are you confused? You thought Africans were simplistic. No, we're not. We just don't speak the language you do the same way you do. We don't express ourselves the same way you do. And you know what? If there wasn't diversity to this life, it would be incredibly boring if all of us did everything the same way and did not have diversity. When I meet my African friends and I am with my non-African friends, they find it incredible. People always tell me that I have split personalities. When I am in Caucasian settings, Western settings, I'm a civilized woman. I'm actually quite soft-spoken, you know. I can even attempt to do this lady thing. I am the kind of person who responds to whoever I'm dealing with at the time. So yeah, I can speak flawless English and I can speak flawless native languages, and I can actually have a native persona, and I do that with some of my friends. So occasionally I'll take somebody to go see some of my friends and they're like, wow, you were such a different person then. I'm like, yeah, this is the persona I deal with, I have when I'm dealing with you, because this is what you're comfortable with. But when I meet my girls, when I meet my peeps, I am also quite happy to be me. That was the native me, that's the tribal me, that's the original me, and it's absolutely fine. I want to introduce this to you, and I want to challenge you, especially those of you with funny perceptions about Africans. But as you can see, I can do all the things that you do. I can actually conform to your way of doing things. Yes, I can. I'm adaptable and I'm African. But I can also be an African, express myself differently. And if only you would learn how to understand our interactions, it might help us avoid some of the confusions. One of the other things, the big ones I get from people, is eye contact. Where I'm from, you don't stare adults down. We don't call it eye contact, we call it staring down. When you want to intimidate somebody is when you stare them down. Simples. So when you see that African kid next time, when you're speaking to that African kid who has their eyes downcast, it's a sign of respect. That tall black boy who stares at his feet when you speak to him does not want to stare you down, because when he actually does, he will intimidate the hell out of you. He will intimidate the hell out of you. We are intimidating. We are very intimidating, and we are aware of those things. And so when we come to the West, we try to compensate. But some of the compensation tools that we employ are so misunderstood, and it makes it so difficult sometimes for the very people we are trying to protect also to suggest these things as timid, signs of timidity, signs of mental illness, signs of autism, blah, de blah, de blah. Eye contact means nothing when you are evaluating an African. The lack of eye contact is simply a choice not to stare you down, because once an African wipes the smile out of their face, when an African deepens their voice, because we have that voice range, when I really want to intimidate you, that is when I will stare you down. And I will drop the timbre of my voice. And that is usually enough to disarm a lot of people. It's not necessary in everyday interactions, certainly not necessary in friendly interactions. So we don't maintain eye contact because we know ourselves. Well, we do. Take that as a goodwill, because it's actually intended as a goodwill. It is not because we disrespect you. It's not because we are timid and cannot hold you to eye contact. We sure can. But when we actually do employ eye contact, we do know the devastating effect, and so most of us don't. And we raise our kids not to. We teach our kids not to. Cultural. Like I said, you look me in the eye, I don't look you in the eye. There are choices. Why does one have to be better than the other one? So you see, we are easy to understand. This is a symbol of pain, of regrets. Are you baffled? You are? Well, that's a pity, because I think it's very simple. I am agreeing with you. I am disagreeing with you. Tell me more. I am intrigued. Hey! Really? Is that so? Oh my God. Huh? Boy. Hey! Chai. That is one we've all stolen from the Nigerians. Chai! Hey! God forbid. Did you know that? God forbid. I'll bring you some more. I'll explain some more. This is just an introduction. This is a comical introduction. I know a lot of you would rather I told them some more, but I'm trying to keep it simple. If you watch this video and you're African and you have your own peculiar ones that you think I should discuss, by all means, send them to me. We are all home, we're all quarantined anyway. We might as well tickle ourselves, entertain ourselves, learn from each other, so that when we actually go back to social mingling, when we begin to interact again, we do so from a point of better knowledge, a point of better understanding, because we've accessed videos like this. Where are you from? What are your typical behaviors which are misunderstood? What should people know about your people? Are you also symbolic? Yeah. So today, Ethel, we will finish with the one you came with this morning. Somebody asked, she's gone to see a musical piece from Ghana and she's looking for a translation, and when she looks online, she does not understand anything of the chorus. Pete, pete, senyiwa de de de, senyiwa. Oh, my Mary Frau, senyiwa de de de, senyiwa. Awesome in bed, senyiwa de de de, senyiwa. You baffled? This is the art of African storytelling. Spider-Man is a Ghanaian concept. Spider-Man, the concept of Spider-Man is Kweku Anansi. He is ours. I will tell you the relationships later. But Kweku Anansi is one of the great characters of Ghanaian storytelling from the Akan group anyway. Kweku Anansi does a lot of adventures, the adventures of Spider-Man. Most of those things are from the Anansi stories, all right? But this art of storytelling also uses a lot of music. And so in this story, Senyiwa Dedede is just a chorus. Pete, the vulture, pete, pete, so we call the pete. Senyiwa Dedede, Senyiwa. Oh, mommy, refrain, your mom is calling. Senyiwa Dedede, Senyiwa. And then he asks, awesome in bed, and what does my mom want from me? Senyiwa de de de, senyiwa. Awesome betiti, come and eat, come for dinner. Senyiwa de de de, senyiwa. Cheeky Petter wants to ask the next question. Eben it's bana. What kind of food is she asking me to come and eat? I may or may not be interested, depending on what she's offering. Senyiwa de de de, senyiwa. Fufu na benkwan, senyiwa de. Yeah, that's an old favorite. Anyway, my name is Mamet. You can call me Amma. Amma Manson. For most of you, it is still the same one and only me. Definitely look me up. Definitely let me enlighten you about my people. Let me, I am a link between two communities. I definitely can relate to you wherever you're from, because I communicate in the medium of English language, and I do so quite efficiently. But I am also traditional in the sense I am aggressively traditional. I am so West African. I'm so Ghanaian. It's not even funny. So I can help you understand some of our people's behaviors, some of our people's cultures, some of our beliefs, and I can do so in a medium you understand. And I'm hoping that these videos help you understand somewhat what we do, and it helps you respect the fact that diversity exists, and each medium, each method of doing something is as valid as the other one. See you soon. If you've not subscribed to the YouTube page, please do subscribe, because there'll be more of this project and of the Akan language lessons coming right up. See you soon.